and welcome to WashingtonExec's video series. I'm Senior Reporter Rachel Kirkland, and I am joined by Dr. Arvenita Washington Cherry, who joined Maximus in December 2020 as the Senior Director of Diversity, Equity, and Inclusion. Welcome, Dr. Cherry.
Good morning. Thank you for having me.
So Dr. Cherry is here to speak today about the ongoing work around DE&I at Maximus. And before you came to Maximus, you were involved in that line of work, not only as a consultant, but also as a researcher and someone who taught at the university level. Tell me more about your background.
Oh, wow. Where do I start? Well, actually, I like to say I'm a teacher at heart. I was a classroom teacher. I was a middle school science teacher for about 5 years. And really, I found myself caring about the kind of cultural climate, developing that for students, equally to the content knowledge that they were learning. And so it all started in a classroom, really. And when I went back to grad school to train to become an anthropologist, I was really interested in my experiences as a teacher and trying to connect certain divides and bridge certain gaps. And back in grad school, I started a consultant business where I would consult on social justice topics, a lot of focus on issues of race and racial equity and gender equity. And I found myself consulting in philanthropy for many years, primarily, and worked with other nonprofits and in education and a little bit of corporate here and in the museum world. And so that's really how that started. I ended up doing a postdoctoral fellowship program that helped me further hone my skills and develop my research, and also a scholar in residence program at a local museum. And all the while, I was still consulting on these issues. And so after that, I went back to the university to teach full time. Again, grounded in a lot of these courses for undergraduates and graduate students on social justice issues, on diversity, equity, and inclusion. And here I am at Maximus trying to do similar work, bringing my teaching experiences into the fold here.
Excellent. Can you speak about some of the ways Maximus might stand out from the crowd in its DE&I efforts?
Oh, I would love to do that. So, based on my experiences and now based on being at Maximus, I would say the number one way Maximus stands out is that we have full support from our leadership at the top. Our CEO, Bruce Caswell, and our CHRO, Michelle Link, truly believe in this work. They are some of the strong supporters for this work, and all of the support we need to really be successful in the DE&I space, they're right there working alongside me with this. And then the other thing is we have wonderful colleagues who bring a wealth of knowledge in the DE&I space, things they've been doing, for years, long before I came, that really helps to make my job a little bit easier. And also, coupled with that, just tremendous support and energy to move the mark in the DE&I space. And I think that, that sets us apart from other spaces that maybe are a little earlier in their journey or have to do a little more convincing that DE&I is important.
How has the conversation around DE&I changed since you first got involved?
Wow, that's a tricky question. I've had the feedback that we're definitely having more conversations since I've come on board. I've had a lot of positive feedback in just people talking about representation and how it matters to them and how they now see themselves more in our company and in messages about DE&I. We've done a lot of educating about what it is, and it's not just limited to one group or one topic, but it's vast and it's really important, and I feel like people are getting it. I've been invited to a number of team meetings to talk about DE&I, to talk about our strategy that's developing, and really how people can get involved. I get messages every week about, I'm so interested. How can I sign up to do this? How can I be on a committee? How can I, share some ideas I have about the work? And so that lets me know that something's happening. Granted, I wasn't here a year ago or over a year ago to tell you how it's changed from my perspective, but based on the feedback, it's been pretty positive, and I'm excited about it.
Now, you all have started a couple of new things, community conversations and First Friday networking. Tell me more about those.
Sure. Well, actually, at the beginning of every month, we highlight our cultural heritage recognition through a corporate communications. And depending on the month and the theme of that month, we have a DE&I First Friday networking event, which is a lot of fun, actually. We have employees from all over the company join in for about an hour. There's trivia, there's discussion of the theme. People share their stories. They get to meet everyone else, considering we're in this virtual world. So it's been pretty successful. Coupled with that, we have our community conversations on DE&I topics. And so we launched that this year. And we have had a number of staff engage in developing the community conversation, being panelists or facilitators. Each month they look and feel a little bit differently. So we started off for Black History Month, which was pre-recorded, and we had members from our design team and steering committee, regardless of position and background and experience, be a part of the actual panel talking about why Black Lives Matter. We moved into Women's History Month, and we had our own CHRO front and center on that panel, as well as other leaders, women leaders throughout the company. We've had the celebration of Arab American Heritage Month through a community conversation where we had a speaker from the National Arab American Heritage Museum lead that discussion. And then, each month following from Asian American, Pacific Islander American Heritage Month to Pride Month, we also had a community conversation around Juneteenth. And so each month, the participation continues to exceed the next month. And so that's been a very meaningful way to engage, to engage folks as well as to educate folks on a variety of topics.
Now, what DE&I goals are you working on right now?
Oh my gosh, I feel like we're doing everything. And I'm trying to pace myself a little bit. But I think the main things, since I've started, and I haven't been here quite a year yet, I've been on this listening and learning tour. We've been collecting data really to make sure that we're hearing from we're doing well and where the gaps are. And so that's something that's ongoing. The other thing is building a common language around what DE&I is, why it matters, and how we're leading in every aspect of our work at Maximus, and making sure that we're all on the same message about that. And then I would probably say the development of our employee resource groups. We are aggressively taking all of the data, all of the feedback, and trying to form those so we can really support our employees, so we can really ensure that DE&I is infused throughout our company, and that it's really central to our business strategy. There's a lot on the horizon and a lot of energy moving this work. So I'm very excited, and I'm very honored to work alongside my colleagues in this space.
Absolutely. And we'll continue to follow what you all are doing. Thanks for coming on and sharing this with me.
Thanks for having me.
All right, take care.